President Trump's legal team is urging the judge overseeing the elections case to reject prosecutors' proposed protective order. It limits what the former president can share about the evidence. His attorneys say it's too broad, and the judge should impose a more limited order that would prevent the defense team from publicly disclosing only materials deemed sensitive, like grand jury witness testimony. So on the campaign trail, some of the former president's rivals are ramping up their rhetoric now. As Alice Barr tells us, it comes as another election investigation moves forward in Georgia.
A new deadline today for the Trump legal team as the special counsel's office seeks to limit what the former president can say publicly about evidence in the case involving his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Mr. Trump arguing the protective order would impinge on his free speech, while prosecutors say his words could have a chilling effect on witnesses, citing his social media post saying, quote, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you." A Trump spokesman defending the comments as the definition of political speech. The former president over the weekend also slamming special counsel Jack Smith.
This guy's a maniac. They gave me a maniac.
As well as the Obama-appointed judge in the case and his former vice president, Mike Pence. Now a presidential candidate himself, Mr. Pence has sharpened his rhetoric against his former boss.
President Trump asked me to put him over the Constitution that day.
And could become a star witness.
I have no plans to testify. But people can be confident we'll obey the law.
The Trump team arguing he and his vice president merely disagreed over whether Pence could unilaterally move to reverse the election, something constitutional scholars say is not allowed.
What President Trump did not do is direct Vice President Pence to do anything. He asked him in an aspirational way. Asking is covered by the First Amendment.
In an NBC News exclusive, Mr. Trump's closest Republican rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, acknowledging what the former president still refutes.
Of course he lost.
Trump lost the 2020 election.
Of course.
Okay.
Joe Biden's the president.
All this as another potential Trump indictment could come as soon as this week regarding efforts to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia. Former President Trump is set to speak tomorrow in New Hampshire. President Biden is heading out on a western swing focused on his efforts on conservation. The first stop, the Grand Canyon in Arizona. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.